Ito ang Broad Stream Cast Communicators, ang naiba at kakaibang plataporma sa digital broadcast. Mula Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao hanggang sa iba't ibang dako ng mundo. Broad Stream Cast Communicators, ang sandigan ng sambayanan mula sa walang labis at walang kulang na pagbabalita, paglilingkod, maglalahad ng mga mapagbuong komentaryo at usaping pambayan para sa kapakanan ng karamihan. Broad Stream Cast Communicators, tuwirang maglilingkod ngayon hanggang sa susunod na henerasyon. Buhay Online, Chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Ating tunghayan, pakinggan at tuklasin ang mga pangyayari at kaganapan sa mundo ng online. Buhay Online, Chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Alamin ang pinaka-latest trends mula sa trabaho at kung hanggang saan na ang narating ng teknolohiyang ito. At ngayon, narito na ang ating host, ang ating Techiemommy, si Jaye C. Bautista.
Hello! Happy Wednesday! Sorry, I'm super late kasi po talaga I'm having technical difficulties. Ngayon ko lang napaandar tong aking OBS kaya balik yung aking background. Hi Jake! I've missed you for a while. I haven't seen you in a while. Hello Jake Alcantara. Jake Elizar. Sorry, medyo nabubulol-bulol ako. I just came back from having my booster shot done and medyo parang I have the jitters, the thrills, parang nanginginig ako for some reason. Moderna po yung booster shot ko. Para siya, I don't feel parang ako nautal. But anyway, I'm so sorry. I came from my booster shot. I don't look well, I guess, pero I wanted to be here to broadcast po. So kasi ayoko po kasi kinakadol yung sick feeling. That's why, despite my feeling jitters and stuff, I'm here. And I was able to put my OBS together kasi po kanina ayaw mandar. Hi there, hello there, Sugar, my sweetheart colleague from the online learning platform. Hi, Jake. And of course, today po is importante po sa aking buhay sapagkat ito po ang birthday ng aking one and only child of my love and my life. Happy birthday, Kiani Villaraza. Happy birthday to you. Okay? He turned 20 today. Many happy returns of your day, my love. Tapos, sobra talaga. Nanginginig talaga ako. Oh my God. But anyway, I didn't even put anything on, but lipstick lang. Pasensya na pa to my looks. But anyway, I'm here po. I'm here to talk about what's going on in the world technologically, right? Unang-una po, there's an uptick on COVID-19 cases pa. Sabi nila it's temporary, pero as of yesterday, they said it's not really just because of the holidays, right? The recent uptick in coronavirus cases may not yet be a cause for concern and should not yet yield an increase in restrictions for the time being, sabi ng Okta Research Group. Okay? Thank you, Jake. Yes, sasabihin ko sa kanya, happy birthday, sabi mo. Okay? Speaking at the Laging Handa briefing nung Monday, Okta Research Fellow Guido David said that the full picture of the coronavirus situation was not clear yet, as the uptick could only be temporary. The Department of Health earlier Monday also acknowledged what it said was an uptick in cases in Metro Manila's positivity rate after the capital region registered positive growth in COVID-19 cases in the past week by 49%. And expect naman po natin to because of the holiday rush. Like, yun na lang pagpunta mo sa mall and you see that there's like a lot of people in the malls. Diba? Puno kasi nga pwede nang lumabas yung older people, yung elderly, tsaka yung mga bata, and kaya puno-puno na naman yung mall. So we really expected this upsurge naman eh. Sabi nila, it could just be a holiday uptick, but maybe not, right? After the holidays, possibly the number of cases and the positivity rate will go down. Hopefully naman po, no? In a way, it was expected because the same thing happened last year due to the holidays. David said in mixed Filipino and English. Because of the increase in reproduction number, NCR is now classified as low risk from very low risk. O sige, kasi naging very low risk na nga tayo nung tinanggal yung nung ginawang alert level 1. Kaso yan, naging from very low risk to low risk na naman ulit ang NCR. Sige pa, magpasyal pa more para ibalik na naman sa alert level 2. He also said in a tweet, though he was careful to clarify that these were based on metrics set by non-profit COVID Act Now, not the same ones employed by the DOH and Coronavirus Task Force. This comes after 2% of tests came out positive for the pathogen tung last Sunday, marking the highest positivity rate recorded by health authorities. Ito lang, tung Sunday lang na to, since November. The 2% rate, however, is still well within the benchmark of 5% set by the World Health Organization for opening economies. As it currently stands, all areas in the Philippines are set to remain under alert level 2 for the remainder of 2021. Okay. NCR now at low risk from very low risk, as the 7-day average increased to more than 100 for the first time. Ayan kasi, okay? Ayan tuloy ang nangyari. Tapos, ano pa naman, di ba? Now, again, the virus is spreading. Samantalang, the Philippines pa naman has supposedly attained a substantial population immunity versus COVID-19. Kaso nga, ito na naman, kasi the holidays, yan. Bigla na lang, ano na naman tayo. It's spreading, right? But, of course, that's why we please have to be mindful, okay? You know, it's not that because you're vaccinated or kahit may booster shot, ibig sabihin na, okay na lang, right? Hindi. It's still not okay. Like in the other countries that are quashing this virus well, like Taiwan, even though they have almost zero infections, like that in the 2 digits lang, like 10 or 20, they still wear masks when they go out. The children still wear masks when they go to school, okay? Because the virus is still out there, right? And we're still learning about how, okay, this how to contain this virus. So as of today, okay, yung Okta says Omicron risk remains very high. This is according to the World Health Organization. Okay, this is up to today. Kasi diba every day we try to find out ano tong strength nitong Omicron na to na sinabi it spreads faster. And a few days ago sinabi nila the Delta variant was more dominant, but now okay, this is news today regarding this Omicron virus from Geneva, Switzerland. The risk posed by the Omicron variant is still very high. This is according to the World Health Organization. Sinabi nila ito nung Wednesday. After COVID-19 case number shot up by 11% globally last week. Okay? Globally. I'm nabubulol because of my bakuna. I got a booster shot just an hour ago or a few minutes ago. Maybe 45 minutes ago. And I'm actually shaking. Moderna po ito ha. Ngayon lang ako nagka-side effect. My 2 doses of my vaccination. I didn't even have any fever, no signs. But, well, maybe I felt a little dizzy on the first one. Pero after 30 minutes, nawala. Pero ito ngayon, medyo ako yung nahihilo pa rin and I am shaking, really. I don't know. But they told me daw there talaga yung Moderna, you're bound to have also parang also lagnat. But so far, I don't have naman lagnat, okay? Anyway, as I was saying, the risk posed, according to the World Health Organization, the case numbers increased by 11% globally last week. Omicron is behind rapid virus spikes in several countries, including those where it has already overtaken the previously dominant Delta variant. The WHO said in the COVID-19 weekly epidemiological update, the overall risk related to the new variant of concern, Omicron, remains very high. That's according to the UN Health Agency. Consistent evidence shows that the Omicron variant has a growth advantage over the Delta variant with a doubling time of 2 to 3 days and rapid increases in the incidence of cases as seen in a number of countries, including Britain and the United States. Kaya nga, di ba, all of a sudden yun sa London, pati sa Spain, dumami na ulit yung infections. Even now, it's also spreading again fast in the United States. So pretty soon, magsasara na naman yung travel dyan because, right, for the past month or so, people have been enjoying travel to America, ng quarantine-free, but now, maybe it's not gonna change soon because of the growing concern over the spreading of the Delta variant at naabutan na ng Omicron yung pag-spread. Kasi nga mas mabilis mag-spread daw itong Omicron, right? So, the rapid growth is likely to be a combination of both immune evasion and intrinsic increased transmissibility of the Omicron variant. However, the WHO highlighted the 29% decrease, in the incidence of cases observed in South Africa, the country which first reported the variant to the WHO on November 24. Doon nga galing, di ba? Thank you then, Sugar, for greeting my child. Happy birthday. Salamat. It said early data from Britain, South Africa, and Denmark, which currently has the world's highest rate of infection per person. Ayan na nga, diba? Yung sa London, grabe na eh, right? Baka mag-lockdown na ulit. Or if hindi pa nagla-lockdown, most probably magla-lockdown na yan. Anyway, so the world's highest rate of infection per person is seen in Britain, South Africa, and Denmark. Suggested there was a reduced risk of hospitalization for Omicron compared to Delta. So ayun ang kinaklaro natin dito. Less yung mga hospitalizations ng infected ng Omicron. Yung mga Delta, ayun ang mas maraming hospital, right? However, further data was needed to understand Omicron's severity in terms of clinical markers, including the use of oxygen, mechanical ventilation, and death. More data was also required on how the severity might be being impacted by previous COVID-19 infection or vaccination. Okay? It is also expected that corticosteroids and interleukin-6 receptor blockers will remain effective in the management of patients with severe diseases. This is according to the WHO. Okay? However, preliminary data suggests that monoclonal antibodies may be less able to neutralize the Omicron variant. Okay? Okay, there is a rise in cases, definitely. The World Health Organization said that in a week ending last Sunday po, following a gradual increase since October, the global number of new cases rose by 11% compared to the previous week, while the number of new deaths dipped by 4%. This corresponds to just under 5 million new cases and over 44,000 new deaths. Itong sinabi ng Geneva-based organization. The highest number of new cases were reported from United States, Britain, France, and Italy. So ngayon, mag-isip na kayo ulit ng mabuti bago kayo pumunta sa mga bansa na ito. Alright? Okay, so, okay. So, enough na muna tungkol sa COVID, no? Magbalita naman tayo ng mga fun tsaka mga interesting news, okay, regarding technology. Okay, here. Look at this one. This is a technology that was okay, nagawa ito sa Japan po. Ito. Look it up. Japan professor creates teletaste TV screen. Oh my goodness, okay? Tingnan nyo yan. My goodness, in this coronavirus era, tama bang gamitin tong dinidila yung screen, right? It's licking the screen. A Japanese professor has developed a prototype lickable TV screen that can imitate food flavors. Oh my gosh, right? Diyos mio, ano ba yan? Hindi kadiri yun pagka mag-share ng Kent yung mga bata. Lahat sila magdidila dun sa screen. But, so yeah, a Japanese professor developed a prototype lickable TV screen that can imitate food flavors. Another step toward creating a multi-sensory viewing experience. The device called Taste the TV, or ITTV, uses a carousel of 10 flavor canisters that spray in combination to create the taste of a particular food. The flavor sample then rolls on hygienic film over a flat TV screen for the viewer to try. In the COVID-19 era, like now, this kind of technology can enhance the way people connect and interact with the outside world, said Meiji University professor Homei Miyashita. The goal to make it possible for people to have the experience of something like eating at a restaurant on the other side of the world, even while staying at home. Okay. Miyashita works with a team of about 30 students that has produced a variety of flavor-related devices, including a fork. Imagine now, tinidor, a fork that makes food taste richer. Wow. Sabi yun, He said that he built the TTTV prototype himself over the past year, okay, and that the commercial version would cost about 100,000 yen or $875 to make. Parang mura. Potential applications include distance learning for sommeliers and cooks and tasting games and quizzes, he said. Miyashita has also been in talks with companies about using his spray technology for applications like a device that can apply a pizza or chocolate taste to a slice of toasted bread. Wow, grabe, no? Imagine. Potential applications include distance learning for sommeliers and cooks nga naman dahil pwede silang mag-taste test online, right? Miyashita has also been in talks with companies about using his spray technology for applications like a device that can apply a pizza or chocolate taste to a slice of toasted bread. Wow. Meiji student Yuki Hao, 22, demonstrated TTTV for reporters, telling the screen she wanted to taste sweet chocolate. After a few tries, an automated voice repeated the order and Flavor Jets spritz a sample into a plastic sheet. It's kind of like milk chocolate, she said. It's sweet like a chocolate sauce. So yung testing na yan nasa picture, yan siya si Yuki Hao. Okay? Yuki Hao na nag-test nitong TTTV, all right? Taste TV. See? There it is. Okay? All right? So look it up. Japan professor, isang Japanese professor from the Meiji University ang nag-invento po nito. Okay, that's technology for you. My gosh, you can taste the screen. You can have samples of food. You can try it. Anyway, so, use ko kahapon yung upcat suspend ang upcat. Okay? Hold on po. I'm just fixing my backgrounds. All right. Okay. So yes, again, happy birthday to my one and only child. Happy birthday, my love. Okay. Let's talk about global warming. All right, global warming. Well, today, the season, here in the Philippines, it's really very rare to have cool weather, especially in the city or nearby provinces. Except for places like Tagaytay, where there's cooler weather, and Baguio, that's experiencing about 10-degree weather, and in Tagaytay, it's somewhat like about 18 or 15 or so. Here, like in Pampanga, it's in the 20s, which is really very rare for any time of the year. Pero we're having a bit of cold, chilly weather now. And of course, this is also due to climate change. Tsaka yun na nga, winters in Japan is really winter now. Malamig. Nakakapag-skiing na yung mga estudyante ko. They went to ski resorts because 2 years ago, before the pandemic, the winter in Japan was like the snow was melting, so the ski lodges were closed, right? But as the post-pandemic world starts to take shape, it's clear that climate change will be the defining issue of our time. Regions like Southeast Asia face not only long-term but also immediate threats because of a warming planet, underscoring the need for global leaders to take decisions and active decisions right now. Okay, in the Philippines po, ang Globe Telecoms rising up to the challenge by putting sustainability at the core of their missions to help combat climate change before it's too late. We have extended droughts leading to widespread flood shortages, wildfires, hurricanes, and cyclones disrupting emergency health services, rising seas displacing coastal communities, driving people into cities in greater numbers, and increasing the prospect that new diseases will emerge. Climate change doesn't just threaten the future of the planet, it is already affecting our world as we speak. Diba? Noong 2020, in the middle of a devastating pandemic, 30.7 million people were displaced, but not because of the health crisis. A majority were fleeing from floods, wildfire, drought, or heat waves. Yung nangyari sa California, yung forest fires na tumagal ng weeks, di ba, na nakita sa nag-spread sa California. Without intervention, experts say a warming planet could cause more than 216 million people to migrate within their own countries and cost the world 10% of its total economic output by 2050. Inuulit ko, no, kung walang mag-intervene at mag-asikaso nitong climate change and sustainability efforts, experts say a warming planet could cost more than 216 million people to migrate within their own countries, okay? As the post-pandemic world takes shape, it's clear climate change will be the defining issue of our time. But countries and companies are rising to the occasion, drawing up strategies for sustainability and joining hands to combat climate change before it's too late. Okay? Okay. Together naman po sa efforts na to, no, the landmark Paris Agreement in 2016 set the tone for change. It marked the first time that global government and corporate leaders collectively acknowledged that we must act together to halt climate change. Since then, thousands of corporations have pledged. Marami naman pong mga companies ang nag-show ng support by pledging to reduce emissions, shift to renewable energy, or transition to zero carbon operations using science-based targets. Kaya nga, ang mga industries po, kailangan sila pong maging aware of that. Fast-growing companies like sa Pilipinas, yung Globe, a leading telecommunications provider, have amplified their own net zero initiatives to put their weight behind their country's climate commitments. For example, yung Globe po, sumali sa UN's Race to Zero campaign, which seeks to lower greenhouse gas emissions to net zero by no later than 2050. Okay? Sabi ng Presidente and CEO ng Globe, si Ernest Cu, we recognize the critical need to take action now to counter climate change. The imminent crisis is already threatening people, mga negosyo and economies sa buong mundo. Companies like ours have a vital role to play, utilizing innovations, technologies, and expertise to decarbonize our operations and serve as a guidepost for other organizations to follow. Okay? In the Philippines, a country among the most vulnerable to the adverse effects of a warming planet, located in a region, Southeast Asia, that itself faces huge threats because of climate change. More than 3.9 million people were displaced because of natural disasters noong 2020. At ito naman po na namang nangyari 3 weeks ago or yung or a month ago, yung Odette na or Rai na typhoon ang nag-wreak havoc na naman po at maraming nasalanta. Rising sea levels and more frequent and powerful floods, droughts and typhoons threaten the Philippines' water supplies, rice yields, labor productivity, even the well-being of vulnerable groups. And typhoons, such as mga indigenous communities, pag wala pong tumulong, pag wala pong mayroong gumawa ng paraan, without intervention, experts say the Philippines could lose 6% of its annual gross GDP by 2100. Okay? Pero yan na nga, companies kagaya ng Globe speak to the bigger role corporations can play in the fight. Ini-encourage natin ang mga ibang mga companies, big companies especially in vulnerable regions, to please be aware of this and make a stand also and do their part. Globe has set out to galvanize action across the telecommunications industry, work with at-risk local communities, and lead by example through ambitious net zero targets. Okay, Globe is the first and so far only publicly listed company in the Philippines to be listed by the Science Based Target Initiative, a global partnership striving to develop a net zero economy. This year, Globe announced its support for the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosure, a move that will increase transparency around its environmental actions in response to climate change. Okay? So ayan po ang ina-offer na tulong ng Globe. At an operational level, Globe has worked to reduce emissions across its system since 2014. So far, 13 of Globe's key sites run entirely, yung mga cell site, on clean energy, and the company has deployed over 7,400 green solutions, from free cooling systems to hybrid generators, to help consume cleaner fuel at lesser quantities and maintain energy-efficient heat removal throughout operations. Very good, no? Good for you, Globe. The company has also partnered with local groups to rebuild ecosystems and develop its own programs to support community efforts to go green. See, encourage talaga yan ng Globe. With Hinileban Foundation and the Mead Foundation, Globe is a reforesting denuded land in Bukidnon, Lanao del Sur, and Zambales, and it is working with the Zoological Society of London on mangrove conservation efforts in Iloilo. Meanwhile, the National E-Waste Zero program has given communities a better way to recycle or recover electronic waste. Since 2014, ang Globe po ay nag-set up ng mga 120 e-waste drop-off points across the Philippines and disposed of or has recycled 1.4 million kilograms of e-waste through partnerships with more than 80 corporations, organizations, government groups, and schools. Okay? Gusto niyong makita? Okay, itong ginawa po ng Globe, no? Sandali, pakita ko lang. Alright. Alright. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I can smell cigarettes. Hold on, let me just fix it. This is the effort. Oh, it's really like that. Alright, let me just show you. Okay, here it is. Hold on, please bear with me. Alright. Kasi I'm also using now Windows 11, and it's a little bit hold on. gosh. Hold on, I'm so sorry. What is this? Okay, let me just get it just to show you the project that they're working on regarding e-waste management. Okay. Why can't I see that? What happened? I'm sorry, please bear with me. I'm just trying to. What happened? Haha, sorry. Anyway, never mind. I'll not show it na lang. It's okay. So I was saying e-waste, zero waste. Okay, so that's their project. So anyway, the world will not heal on its own, okay? Particularly not in its most vulnerable areas. As we look past the pandemic to the long-term threats posed by a worsening climate, it's clear that cooperation between businesses and governments will go a long way to building a better future. So, so let's all do our part, please, to preserve our planet, okay? All right? Kahapon po, pinag-usapan natin yung how to protect ourselves, from cyber hacking and cyber criminals through our phone that intrude on our telephones and our what do you call this? Whatever gadgets we have, okay? Let's check out, okay, how the metaverse, of course, okay. Christmas Day, they already launched, no? Si Metaverse, the reality app. Or we'll just talk about it another time, okay? Let's talk about that another time, okay? Sige. Well, we are having mixed messages about the Omicron infection because because somebody texts here, please more. We want more information regarding the Omicron virus because every day there's something new that we find out about it, and also because the spreading of the Delta variant. Okay. The Omicron infection appears to protect against COVID Delta variant and could displace it. There's a recent South Africa study that says so. Okay, this was yesterday. Okay, a person performed a self-swab test sa New York. Nagsi-self-swab test na yung mga tao doon because it's really spreading in New York right now. But the immune response of people, okay, ito yung according to recent findings from South Africa, okay, as of yesterday. The immune response, okay, in answer to the text that I got, okay, more on the Omicron, because ito ang concern ngayon. Sige. Let's talk about it. The immune response of people infected with Omicron appears to increase protection against Delta more than fourfold, okay, according to a study from South Africa. Omicron could displace Delta as a consequence, the team of scientists found, all right? If Omicron also proves less severe, COVID infections could prove less disruptive to society. Tama. Na nga yung sinabi, di ba? However, the study has not been peer-reviewed. Current data on severity is preliminary, and epidemiologists have warned Omicron could still strain hospitals. Pero ngayon, di ba, kaganinang umaga, yung news sinabi na mas konting tao ang nao-hospital from Omicron. Mas marami yung Delta variant. So, okay. People infected with the heavily mutated Omicron variant of COVID-19 may have increased immune protection against Delta. Ayan na. Okay, ulitin ko. People infected with the heavily mutated Omicron variant may have increased immune protection against Delta. Okay, yan ang sabi ng studies. As a consequence, Omicron could displace Delta, according to the small study published by South African scientists this week. The findings could have significant implications for nations such as the United States, where Omicron infections are rapidly increasing. But the Delta variant, which has caused an increase in hospitalizations, is still widespread. Yun na nga yung sinabi ko kanina, di ba? Nag-abot na yung Delta variant tsaka yung Omicron, right? Omicron. Parang Sony Trinitron kasi eh. Okay, nag-abot na sila sa Amerika. Kaso nga, yung mas maraming na hospital, yung nagka-Delta, right? Okay? The results are consistent with Omicron displacing the Delta variant since it can elicit immunity which neutralizes Delta, making reinfection with Delta less likely. Okay? The team of scientists led by Khadija Khan at the Africa Health Research Institute wrote in his findings. Sabi niya pa, if Omicron displaces Delta and proves more mild than past variants, the incidence of COVID-19 severe disease would be reduced, and the infection may shift to become less disruptive to individuals and society, according to the scientists' findings. Very good. Omicron was first identified by South Africa and Botswana in November. The study has yet been peer-reviewed. Researchers still have to be publishing their findings before they are evaluated by other experts in the field due to the urgent nature of the pandemic. Okay. The study followed 13 people, 11 of whom had been infected with the Omicron variant. 7 of the participants were vaccinated. 3 people who received 2 doses of the Pfizer and BioNTech vaccine, and 4 who received the Johnson & Johnson shot. The antibody response of people infected with Omicron appeared to increase protection. Okay, I say that again. Protection against the Delta variant, right? More than 4-fold ang potency nito to protect against the Delta. So the variant was protection ito more than 4-fold. Okay? Participants also showed a 14-fold increase in the ability of antibodies to block Omicron reinfection. Wow! Good news. However, the scientists caution that it is unclear, okay, hindi pa po ito sigurado, hindi pa po ito malinaw. Increased protection is due to Omicron-induced antibodies, vaccination, or immunity from a previous infection. Vaccinated individuals demonstrated stronger protection. In the United States, Omicron represented 58% of sequenced COVID cases, while Delta represented 41% last week. Okay? Hindi pa nagla-lockdown po ang Amerika, hindi pa po. Okay? Alright. So, ano pa po ang balita naman po sa ating bansa? Alright, well, we already talked about, okay. Please, if you have suggestions of articles or topics to talk about and discuss here, or you have questions about certain things regarding technology, whether it's work, whether it's government, whether it's work, whether it's studying, okay? Please, feel free to message me on my messenger or here at Broad Stream Cast Communicators Facebook page, okay? Or through my email, which is jbautista@gmail.com. Please don't hesitate to ask or don't hesitate to suggest topics that you want us to handle and tackle here, okay? All right. So today we talked a lot about Omicron because it's actually the concern nowadays. But please, tomorrow we will be talking about more breakthroughs in technology and a lot of things that happen all around the world with regards to technology and how it affects our lives. Okay, so Oh, there's one thing here. Okay, is it true that rapid COVID tests not as accurate with Omicron? Well, let me find out. Well, I think it says here, rapid COVID tests not as accurate with Omicron. This is according to rapid COVID tests. Hold on a second. Are more likely to give a false negative. Ayan tandaan yan. Totoo naman, kasi I have had cases like that. I've heard of cases like that happening to friends. You know, yung kay Sharon Pinetangad, diba? It happened also na when she was already on the way to America. She was already there, and then she tested positive when before she left the Philippines, it was negative. So anyway, rapid COVID home tests are more likely to give a false negative with a heavily mutated Omicron variant compared to earlier strains, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration said Tuesday. The news comes as the county is facing a massive surge in cases that experts say is being undercaptured as a result of a testing crunch, with long wait times for the more accurate PCR tests and home kits in extremely short supply. In a statement, the FDA said it was collaborating with the National Institutes of Health to study the performance of home tests, also known as antigen tests, against patient samples containing live versions of the Omicron variant. Okay? Early data suggests that antigen tests do detect the Omicron variant but may have reduced sensitivity. Sensitivity is a measure of how likely a test is able to detect a positive. Okay? Previous testing had focused on heat inactivated virus samples rather than live virus, which is better, and a drop-off in performance hadn't been spotted until now. Okay? The FDA said it would continue to authorize the use of antigen tests. Mas mura kasi nga rin yung antigen test, di ba? Kasi, pero because nagmura na naman rin now, in fairness, yung PCR test, except yung dito sa Pampanga. Mahal-mahal pa rin, especially din sa mga top hospitals. Okay, the FDA said it would continue to authorize the use of antigen tests, which work by detecting surface proteins of the coronavirus, and that individuals should continue to use them in accordance with the instructors. For instance, some rapid tests instruct users to take 2 tests, a certain amount of time apart, in order to confirm a negative. If a person tests negative with a rapid test, but is thought likely to have COVID, either because of symptoms or their exposures, they are still recommended, okay, to get a gold standard molecular test, such as a PCR. That's what I mean. Because the antigen test, okay, is not accurate. So you'd best take the PCR swab test, right? These detect the genetic material of the virus. They are more accurate because they can make millions of copies of the virus RNA, so even tiny amounts become detectable. Very good. And on that note, okay, I'd like to close and of course allay the fears of the people, okay? Maraming salamat, okay? For all those people who joined me today, thank you so much for coming to the show. Pasensya na po at ako'y late. We will talk about a lot more things tomorrow and continue with our technology news and updates, okay? At maraming salamat po. Thank you very much. At the end of the day, please always have hope, faith, hope, and love in our hearts for everyone po. Maraming salamat. Happy birthday sa aking anak, Johnny Bautista Pakinggan. Thank you very much, and magkita-kita po tayo ulit bukas pa. Mayroon pa tayo pong bukas hanggang Friday. Have a good day po. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Inyong natunghayan at napakinggan ang mga makabagong pamamaraan sa mundo ng online sa pamamagitan pa rin ng Broad Stream Cast Communicators. Hanggang sa muli, maraming salamat po.